In August 1942, Japanese military leaders believed victory in the Pacific was inevitable. They looked at the American Marines defending Guadalcanal and saw what they assumed were soft, undisciplined soldiers who would crumble under pressure. In their eyes, the spiritual and martial superiority of Japanese troops would carry the day, crushing any Western force that dared to oppose them. These assumptions were rooted in arrogance and cultural overconfidence, and they would be shattered in the coming months. The first test came at the Tenaru River. Colonel Kiyonao Ichiki led an elite regiment across the jungle toward Henderson Field, expecting an easy victory. He openly mocked the Marines, confident that their lack of combat experience would be their undoing. But Ichiki underestimated the determination, preparation, and firepower of the 1st Marine Division. As his men advanced through the night, they ran straight into interlocking fields of machine gun fire and artillery pre-registered on the approaches. Sergeant John Basilone exemplified the courage of the Marines that night. Operating a machine gun position under relentless attack, he continued firing even after being wounded and surrounded. His steadfast defense inflicted massive casualties on the attacking force, turning what the Japanese expected to be an easy conquest into a catastrophe. By dawn, nearly 87% of Ichiki's regiment was destroyed, and the colonel himself was killed. Meanwhile, Guadalcanal as a whole tested Japanese assumptions further. Lieutenant Colonel Merritt Edson and his raiders held Bloody Ridge against repeated night attacks. Despite exhaustion, starvation, and disease, the Marines maintained their positions, repelled assaults, and counterattacked with precision. Starvation Island, as the Japanese called it, became a proving ground for American endurance and adaptability. Beyond the battlefield, individuals like coastwatcher Jacob Vouza played a critical role. Bayoneted 7 times by Japanese troops, he crawled back to warn the Marines of impending attacks, saving countless lives. His story symbolized the intelligence and resilience that Japanese commanders had failed to anticipate. Medal of Honor recipients Alexander Vandegrift, Merritt Edson, and John Basilone represented a generation of young Americans who defied every expectation placed upon them. Over 6 months of brutal jungle warfare, they proved that American Marines were disciplined, courageous, and capable of sustained combat against the best troops Japan could deploy. By the end of the Guadalcanal campaign, the myth of Japanese invincibility had been shattered. The United States Marines had not only defended Henderson Field, but had forced the enemy to reassess their assumptions about Western soldiers. Guadalcanal marked a turning point in the Pacific War, proving that preparation, adaptability, and courage could overcome expectation, superstition, and numerical advantage. Guadalcanal was more than a battle. It was a lesson in underestimation, cultural misjudgment, and the power of a determined force defending its ground. Japanese commanders had miscalculated profoundly, and their errors would echo across the remainder of the Pacific War. In August 1942, Japanese commanders believed that American Marines were soft, undisciplined, and incapable of true combat. They thought the spiritual superiority of Japanese troops would ensure victory. Guadalcanal proved them wrong. This documentary tells the full story of how the 1st Marine Division shattered assumptions at the Tenaru River, held Bloody Ridge under relentless attacks, and survived starvation and disease on Starvation Island. Featuring the heroic acts of Medal of Honor recipients John Basilone, Merritt Edson, and Alexander Vandegrift, as well as the brave coastwatcher Jacob Vouza. This video explores how American soldiers adapted, endured, and overcame one of the most dangerous misjudgments in military history.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Share this video with someone who might find it useful. Comment below what you want to see in the next video.